Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another range report. And today's range report is on another 1911. Yes, a 1911, not a 2011, according to their website. Because I know some people are going to say, that's not a 1911, it's a 2011. Well, it is a 2011, but they call it a 1911, a wide body, double stack 1911. This is the Masterpiece Arms DS9 Hybrid. So to most people, this is a 2011, so it has that grip module, has all the features that you would find on all other 2011s. But as I said, the company themselves calls this a 1911. So if you have any problems with that, take that up with Masterpiece Arms. This particular version is the stainless steel version, which I think looks really attractive. So before I go on about the things that I like and don't like about this particular pistol and get to the shooting footage, I want to thank the people that always make these videos possible. First and foremost is the owner of this awesome pistol. That is a local subscriber and good friend of the channel, Ken. Ken, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to shoot this. I want to thank my Patreons as always, because through their monthly donation and support, they help keep the lights on around here by helping me purchase equipment to keep this content coming. And as always, my primary sponsor who provides all of the ammunition for these range reports, thus making them financially feasible, my good friend Mark from Brownworks. I know that if you're watching this video, you're a huge fan of 1911s, and I have the perfect company for you if you're looking for a set of custom grips made from exotic woods and materials with custom logos and engravings. This company is Brownworks. You guys hear me rant and rave and talk about this company in every single range report, and I just don't do these spots because I get ammunition donations from them. I do it because honestly, Mark makes some of the finest and best grips for a wide variety of firearms, as I said, from a wide variety of exotic woods and materials. He can make grips for guns not just like the 1911, but the Beretta 92, CZ style pistols, and a whole bunch of different types of firearms. I guarantee you, if you own a gun that takes wood grips or panel grips, he can make you a set of custom grips, and only making that gun personalized and customized to you. So I'm asking you guys, go over to his website. I'm going to put a link to his website in the description and as a pinned comment. Go over there, see what he has to offer. And if you don't find what you're looking for, make sure you contact him, and I guarantee you he will hook you up with a product that you're looking for. And when you do contact him, please tell him the Texas Gun Vault sent you. All right, so what is this pistol? As I said, Masterpiece Arms calls this a wide body double stack 1911 chambered in 9mm. However, most other people are going to call it a 2011. So you guys can decide what you want to call it. This particular model is called the Hybrid, and it is the stainless steel variation. It does seem to be well built and made by a company that I didn't even know made pistols like this. So what do I like about this gun? And I always want to start with the positive first. And first off, as I've already alluded to, this gun seems to be extremely well built. I've had the honor of getting to shoot a lot of these double stack 1911s recently, and I have to say I'm starting to decide what I like and don't like about particular companies and models. And this one just seems to be a little bit more robust and a little bit more well built. And it could be from the fact that this has a metal frame. If you don't know, in these 2011 pistols, the grip module is not built into the upper receiver. And a lot of companies make those lowers out of polymer, but this company makes them out of metal. It's definitely a little bit heavier and it feels a little bit more robust. That definitely makes this gun feel well built in your hands. And I think when you pick up one of these, that says a lot, because you are going to be spending a lot of money on one of these types of pistols. And when you spend that type of money, you want to feel like you bought something that is quality. And this gun definitely delivers in that category. I also want to talk about the trigger. These guns are designed to be competition and target pistols. And let me tell you, the trigger on this firearm is absolutely fantastic. Let me go ahead and safety check this firearm, visually inspect that chamber. Looks like we are clear. Of course, being a 1911 style pistol, this is single action only. And let me go ahead and pull this trigger. This thing has almost no take-up whatsoever. Take a look at that. That is all the take-up it is, and then you're right at that wall. And that trigger is so light. And here is the reset. Now this is the thing I absolutely love. That's it. That's as far out as it goes, and you're back at that wall. I mean, wow. The trigger in this is the best 1911 or 2011 trigger I've ever felt. That is amazing. Just wow. And this thing even has the flat face trigger, which normally I don't like. But on 1911s, I can deal with because that trigger comes straight back. It is not hinged. I also really like the fact that even though this is made by a different company, all of your standard 2011 style magazines will work. So I do have one from Masterpiece Arms here, the one that comes with the pistol, but I also have one of the extended ones from Staccato, and that works as well. So definitely if you're looking for more capacity and you're a competition shooter, you can run these extra large magazines with no problem. You have the magazine compatibility with all other 2011 pistols. All right, so now let's talk about the things that I don't like. Now the first thing that I don't like kind of deals with the grip module that I do like. It's just that the texturing on this grip module is a little bit aggressive. It kind of has a honeycomb shape to it, which normally is not too bad, but when you hold this thing and then take your hand off, you can actually see on your hand, it marks it pretty bad. Now, it doesn't hurt, it's not uncomfortable, it's just really aggressive. Now, some people are going to like that. I know that when it comes to grip textures, some people cannot get aggressive enough, but for me, there's a fine balance. I like guns to be comfortable, but also tactile in my hand. I want to feel like I get a good purchase. I kind of feel like this texture is just a little bit too aggressive. Maybe those honeycombs are just a little bit too deep. The next thing about the grip module I'm not a huge fan of is this gigantic magwell. No, I like magwells on these guns, but this one is crazy big. It's huge, and I kind of feel like when I put my big old paws on this, it's rubbing against this magwell, and it rubs on the side of my hand. It does not feel comfortable. It kind of feels like it's in the way. I wish that was a little bit smaller. I think that you can have it as wide on the bottom as it is, but the top of it doesn't need to be as big. The other issue I had is at the range, it did come a little bit loose. There is a little set screw right here that I tightened with an Allen wrench. It wasn't that big of a deal, but it did come loose twice. So maybe Ken will need to put a little bit of blue Loctite on it, but once it's tightened down, it's fine. It just seems to come loose a little bit too easy. The last thing about this gun that I don't like is the controls. And yes, it uses the standard controls of a 1911, but because of the size of the grip module here, reaching the controls or accidentally actuating them can be an issue for me. So first, let's take a look at this slide stop. So the slide stop is not extended, but if I want to reach around and drop the slide with just my thumb, I have to really change my grip and reach really far for that to happen. Now I know some people will say you shouldn't have to do that, you should just be able to pull the slide back. And I agree. However, I kind of feel like if you're going to have an extended safety, you need to have an extended slide lock. Now, the other issue, which actually I just caught on camera and it was not intentional, did you see that this safety just accidentally actuated? Yeah, this happens a lot on this. This safety is extremely large and very long. And I find that when I'm reaching for that slide stop, oh, there it goes. It accidentally actuated that safety. And this is actually a problem when I'm trying to shoot. For some reason, that safety is just so large, and maybe my thumb is just so big, it keeps accidentally engaging. And that detent that holds that safety in place is not very strong. It is so easy to flip that on. I don't like that. I like the fact it is ambidextrous, but that safety lever needs to be a little bit smaller and that detent needs to be a little bit more stiff. So that's the things that I like and don't like about this particular pistol. I'm going to load up this big old mag to 20 rounds. I'm going to see how this thing performs. I am really excited. I like these 2011 pistols, and this trigger is fantastic. So let's see how this DS9 Hybrid shoots from Masterpiece Arms. I'm going to set out the target at 7 yards, 20 rounds, and just see what this gun can do. All right, so I'm just gonna say it. This is the nicest shooting 2011 pistol I've ever shot. This thing is super accurate. Low recoil, and this trigger is absolutely outstanding. Hands down, it is the best. And I've shot Staccatos and I've shot Nighthawks. This one is the best, hands down. I am blown away. The aggressive texture on the grip isn't too bad, but as I said, it still leaves marks on my hands. Maybe they offer a different texture, but this one, not a huge fan of, but I could live with. It doesn't hurt. It's just a little bit too aggressive, but man, does this gun shoot well. Wow, I am just blown away. Well, I'm gonna set the target out now at double the distance, about 15 yards, put another 14 rounds through this thing, and just see what happens to this group. This gun is designed for target shooting in competition, and it's really accurate at 7 yards, so I'm curious how I'm gonna do at a further range. So, let's see what happens. And once again, this gun is super accurate for me. And yes, I was going for the head on that silhouette. So I'm really impressed. And this is one of those guns that makes me look like I'm a better shot than what I actually am. And it probably has a lot to do with this awesome Trijicon SRO as well. These are great optics for these 2011s. So the only thing I can really say that's negative about it right now is I did have that safety actuation issue, as I think it was caught on camera. And I also think this grip module is a little bit thicker than your standard 2011s. One of the things people don't like about guns like the Glock 21 is that the grip frame is just so big, and if you have smaller hands, you don't feel like you can really get your hands around it. And I got pretty darn big hands, and even with this grip module, I don't feel like I'm getting around it as much as I would like. But obviously, the results of this shooting test are great, so I really can't complain. It's just more of a comfort thing than anything else. But the performance of this firearm is absolutely outstanding. Now, I want to give my wife Becky a shot at this. She is always very picky about grip textures. And when I showed her this at the range, that was the first thing she noticed. She goes, "What in the world is that?" She held it for just a second and goes, "Nope, I don't like it." It actually took me a little bit of convincing to have her shoot it. So, I'm gonna load up another magazine, give her a shot, and see if this gun is as accurate for her as it is for me. And I'm curious if, like myself, she can get over this grip texture. Now I'm gonna say she shot this gun really, really well, but it definitely flipped for her. Now I was really kind of surprised to see that much recoil, but I'm 100% sure I know what it was. The grip module is simply too big for her extremely small hands. So while the gun performed very well for her, it's not a gun that she would want to shoot too often, but it's more the grip module than the performance of the gun or the trigger, which by the way, she absolutely loves the reset on this. She said she didn't doesn't mind the grip, but she just doesn't like it. So if you have smaller hands, I would definitely recommend probably going in a different direction. But if you have medium to large and can get used to the size of the grip module, definitely look at this particular gun. But as I said, some people are probably not going to like that, especially if you're someone that doesn't like the larger frames, like, as I mentioned, the Glock 20 or the Glock 21. The only other issue she had, if you notice, the slide did not lock open after the last round. She knew how many rounds were in there and she was counting. And she just put the gun down knowing the gun was empty. I'm not really sure why it didn't hold open. It could be the fact that it was having a little bit of muzzle flip and maybe she limp wristed it. But the performance of the gun for her was great. As you can see, her grouping was really good. So I didn't have any problems with the slide not locking open, but she did. So maybe that's just one anomaly. All right, so since this gun is designed for competition shooting, I'm going to do my typical quick magazine change. I'm expecting with a mag well that is this size, I'm not going to have any problem getting this thing out of here, which, by the way, those mags just fly out of there, and getting the new one in there and the gun back in action. Now, I'm going to say, before I film any of these segments, I always do a test run just to make sure I'm familiar with the gun enough to put it on camera. And I was having problems with that issue I was talking about where the safety was engaging when I did not want it to. Now, there is another problem with this too, because this safety can easily actuate that I discovered. So for example, if the hammer is down after firing, I'll go ahead and drop this hammer. And then what I'm going to do is come over here to the camera and I'm going to reset the trigger. So I'm going to pull this slide back, but I want you to notice that if I'm reaching with my thumb towards the slide stop, it can accidentally push this safety up just a little bit. And then when the slide cycles, it comes back. The safety is not engaged, but that trigger is not allowing the hammer to fall. So if I push it down just a little bit, it drops. There is an issue with this safety. It actuates too easy and it can prevent the hammer from falling even if the safety is not engaged. So if you're going to use this for competition shooting and it has that issue, there was a time when I tried to shoot this gun fast, I brought it up from the ready position and the hammer wouldn't drop. So that's definitely an issue. So I wanted to make that aware. So now we're going to go to me trying to change this magazine out really fast. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to shoot this gun relatively fast because this trigger is so nice. So I'm going to load up these magazines with 7 shots each, just see how fast I can do it. All right, and this gun is definitely designed to run fast. So once again, this gun is making me look like a better shot than I actually am. I can pull this thing fast with an extremely short reset and quick magazine changes. So if you're somebody that does a lot of competitive shooting and actually trains to do this, I think you're going to have a great time with this pistol. All right, so for the last part of this shooting test, I'm just going to set the target out at 25 yards. So far, I have been more impressed with the accuracy of this gun than the speed, which I'm pretty sure I can shoot this thing pretty fast, so there's no need to do a quick mag dump. But I'm curious how I'm going to shoot this thing by setting the target out as far as I can at this indoor range, which is 25 yards. So it's not a 50-yard shot. It's not going to be the new Dickens drill at 40 yards. But I'm going to go out as far as I possibly can at this silhouette. It is a static target, but I am curious to see how well I can shoot it at that distance. So before I give you guys my final thoughts, here is me trying to take my marksmanship at the furthest it can be at this range. And I don't know about you, but I will definitely take that group. This gun, once again, makes me look like a better shot than I actually am. I'm extremely impressed by its accuracy. The most accurate 2011 pistol I've ever shot. So what are my final thoughts on the DS9 Hybrid by Masterpiece Arms? Well, I will start off by saying that this was a gun that I was completely unaware of. I had not heard of Masterpiece Arms making 2011 pistols before, so I didn't really go into this range report thinking I would be as impressed as I am. We all know who the big players in the 2011 game are, and often Masterpiece Arms does not come to the top of that list, but this gun has impressed me a whole bunch. It does have a couple of mechanical issues that I don't like, such as the controls and the safety accidentally actuating, maybe the grip module being just a little bit too big, and the aggressive texturing. But you cannot deny the performance of this firearm is outstanding. If it makes an average gun guy like myself that doesn't do any type of special training or shooting, and I can shoot that well, that fast, and that accurate, well, I give this gun a lot of credit. It is just a fantastic piece of machinery. There's just a few things about it, as I've already mentioned, that I would want to change. The grip texture, the grip size, look into that safety, but the looks of this gun, the performance of this gun just blew me away. It exceeded my expectations. So on my star system, how would I rate the DS9 Hybrid by Masterpiece Arms? Well, unfortunately, I can't give it a 5 out of 5 star. If I didn't have that safety issue, it definitely would get 5 out of 5 stars. But this gun is going to get a solid 4.5 stars out of 5, just because I have those couple of issues, and the fact that that safety accidentally actuates when I'm either trying to reach the slide stop or when I'm just shooting the gun. I don't think that's very good. It needs to be looked into. Now, I do want to say that I know I'm going to get some people in the comment section saying, I own one of those. My gun doesn't do that. You must be a biased reviewer. You're terrible. Well, all I can tell you is, well, due to the cost of this gun, I only have one example, and I can only document and show you my experiences with this one example. Does my review mean that every DS9 Hybrid has this issue? Absolutely not. But you know, when a company makes so many of the same product, one might have a little bit of default. And I have no doubt that if Ken contacted Masterpiece Arms, they would take a look at this and probably fix it. But as it sits here on the table, 4.5 stars out of 5. So I am really, really impressed with this pistol. I like it a whole bunch. I'm so glad that Ken lent it to the channel for review. So thank you so much, Ken. It means the world to me. This is just an absolutely outstanding pistol. So much fun to shoot, and made me look like a better shooter than I actually am. So what do you guys think? Do you like these 2011 pistols? They're definitely growing on me. But man, are they expensive. But I think when you put the money down on a Masterpiece Arms DS9 Hybrid, I think you're getting your money's worth. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Is this a gun that interests you? Do you own one? And do your experiences echo mine? I'd love to know. So, as always, thanks for watching.